Welcome to my first football video, and it's been a while, hasn't it? I had to wait until we got into playoffs to really be able to talk about it. There's just so much going on. And hockey's been, let's be honest, hockey's been crazy, right? So that being said, this is your playoff matchups. The 10-6 Indianapolis Colts got in via a victory over the Tennessee Titans, who finished 9-7, and they go in to play the number 3 seeds, the Houston Texans. So the team that early in the year I said, geez, they can't buy a win, but they're playing really well. Guess what? They played really well, and they won their division. So good for them. The other AFC wild card is the 12-4 San Diego Chargers, who sadly lose out to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why they don't have a bye week. And they're on the road against Baltimore, who's 10-6. They're the number 4 seeds. This is part of what drives me nuts with football. You have 4 division winners and 2 wild cards, which means that 12-4 San Diego has to go to 10-6 Baltimore. And as the number 5 seed, they would probably play Kansas City. Although between Kansas City and New England, would you rather play Kansas City or New England? And that's a question a lot of people are asking as well. So in the NFC, you have the we got in just by the skin of our teeth, Philadelphia Eagles, who were 9-7. They're the number 6 seeds. They get in against the 12-4 third seed Chicago Bears. And so which one's the upset? Is it the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, if they win in Chicago, which is unlikely? Or does Lambeau Field's home team end up... No, not Lambeau. Soldier Field. Anyways, it's been a long year. And Lambaugh's open because Green Bay's not in here. Anyways, yeah, so does Chicago end up being the underdog at home, even though they're 12-4? Not likely. Philadelphia, outside of the first couple weeks of the year, really kind of literally dropped the ball. So 9-7 and 12-4. Seattle 10-6, number 5 seed. I knew Seattle would be good this year, and they made the playoffs. They're in against the Dallas Cowboys. It is hard to pick against the Dallas Cowboys at home, but I'll do it anyways. So anyways, yeah, and then of course with the bye weeks, you have Kansas City, who are 12-4. They're the number 1 seed. Number 2 seed is New England, and the funny thing is they're 11-5, and yet I keep hearing about how New England, finally they've started coming back to earth. They're 11-5. This is a really good record. They're coming back to earth, though. They're not as good as they were. 11-5. People need to just give them a tug. New Orleans, 13-3. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and of course the number 2 seed, waiting to meet somebody, are the LA Rams. This should be very interesting to see what happens. Now, for the record, I had Yvonne just pick, looking at the logos, she picked New Orleans to win the Super Bowl over Baltimore. Just as good a pick as any, because honestly, this is going to be one heck of a ride. If I had to pick winners, honestly, I kind of like the Colts going into Houston and scoring an upset. I do pick the Ravens because Baltimore has been the bane of my existence for a long time. You'll see I'm wearing Chargers gear, which means I'm ready for heartbreak again. The Chicago Bears, it's hard to go against them at home. Not at Lambeau. Not at Lambeau Field. No, that's not where they play. It is hard to go against Dallas, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways, which would leave you with Seattle, the number 5 seeds, and they would go in and play New Orleans. I wouldn't like their chances against New Orleans. It would have Chicago in against the Rams. I actually kind of like the Bears over the Rams, to be honest. I do pick Baltimore, who are the number 4 seeds. I do take Indianapolis, who are the number 6 seeds, which would put Indianapolis in against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Baltimore in against the New England Patriots. Of the two, yeah, I would take Kansas City and New England to come out of those matchups. But New England and Baltimore would be quite the war, wouldn't it? That defense of Baltimore, it's always deadly. Which would leave you with Baltimore and Kansas City. New Orleans, yeah, I would take them. I'm basically taking all 4 teams with the bye week. Although the Rams... Now, all right, I'll go with the Bears. The Bears against the Saints. And the Patriots versus the Chiefs. In Kansas City, I'll take New England. So I'm taking New England, and between New Orleans and Chicago, yeah, I'll take New Orleans too, which would leave Yvonne and I both agreeing on the picks. But you know what? I could see New England winning another one, but I'll agree. So I will say that the New Orleans Saints end up emerging as Super Bowl champions against the New England Patriots. So if your name starts with New, you have a good shot in my eyes, or in Yvonne's. And it's funny how I did all the analytical look at it. Well, let's see, and I came out with the same team. So there you go. And of course, the Steelers just miss out at 9-6-1. The Vikings had a half-decent season, but they miss out at 8-7-1. And then there's the Falcons at 7-9. What happened there? Again, you end up with a lot of teams that, if we're going to look at it, traditionally the Chiefs are a pretty good bet to make the playoffs. And I'm looking over the last 3+ decades. New England, of course. Baltimore, their defense is deadly. Bears, definitely the Saints in recent years. Rams are kind of up and down. Seattle, they may be at the back end of it's not a dynasty, but of being a really solid playoff team. This may be the last year we see them in there. But really, they've been competitive for quite a while. And, of course, the Cowboys are hit and miss. They're a team that can be really hit and miss. So there you go. Let me know your picks in the comments section below, as always. Yes, I will discuss football. I don't have a problem discussing football. Next weekend for hockey, honestly, there aren't any really huge, 15-game days. So I can definitely pay some attention to what's going on with football. And we will discuss after these 4 games are played, and we know who's playing these 4 teams. We can then discuss who's out, who's still in, and just how broken our picks are. The good thing is, our pick for the Super Bowl would be playing next week no matter what. They can't be eliminated in a bye week. So there you go. The NFL playoffs have begun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.